In this video, we're going to conclude our video course in Blender, and we're going to talk about what's after Blender, or what's after your final renderings and final render animations. So we talked about pretty much everything. We talked about how to create models and to sculpt models, to adjust the materials and the mapping, and also how we can paint our textures and create our shaders using the node editor, and how to create animation renderings. And now we are, let's say, at the end of this part, of this learning part, and we're going to talk about compositing. Now, compositing is one of the tools that we can define post-processing tool or post-production tools that we find in Blender. Now, what is post-production? Now, basically, it's what comes after the everything you did so far here in Blender. So, if you created a rendered image, then you probably would want to proceed in another software to create like photo montages and add like people and props and backgrounds and things like that. Also, if you created a video animation, you would probably move on and create video montages or video effects, and maybe you want to create, I don't know, like a documentary or a TV show, whatever. So you always need to proceed with something else, basically. So we will see what we can do here in the compositing layout in Blender, and then also we will move on into other solutions, into other software, other websites, where we can continue our work and how we can continue our work. So the compositing panel here is pretty simple. So what I do here is go to the use nodes, and here I can create an image that I can use. And the first thing you would probably do is just drag out this link and type viewer, because this is the one that is gonna let you show something. And what you probably want to show here is your render. So if I go back in my layout and let's run a render here. Okay, so just find out a nice point of view, and then just hit render. So I'm gonna go to render image. Okay, when your render is finished, now I've changed my mind and I wanted to use a little bit of motion blur as well here. So when your render is finished and you go back to the compositing mode, you will see here this image and then these nodes that are like in the front. Now you can also activate the backdrop, the background from here at the top. And you can change this and see, for example, the alpha channel. We can definitely see that we have some transparent part of the image, that the black part there is the black transparency and the white is the mask that is going to be visible. Or we can see here RGB channels. So we can isolate all these channels. I can also manage this image in the background there. If I go into the view and I will go here to backdrop move or backdrop zoom in or zoom out. These are the shortcut keys. So I'm just gonna zoom a little bit out, or you can also feed the backdrop to the available space. But in this case, I just wanna go a little bit back so we can see a little bit better what we are doing. So right now I'm just using an image, but I could add extra images and also other nodes. For example, if I go to add, and usually I use search, but you can also go from here and you can see, for example, all the input that you can add, like image masks, RGB textures, and you will also see the output here. And these are like color correction layers or color correction nodes. So this is similar to what you usually do in Photoshop or GIMP or other photo editing applications. Now you can decide to do it here in Blender, and these are all the tools that you have, or you can do it outside. You can do it in another software or website. Now, in my opinion, I find myself more comfortable by going into another software, but you can decide based on your experience and your necessity and needs and so on. So you also have other stuff here, converters to convert RGB and well, other stuff here. And filter, you can add filters, vectors, and other stuff. So I'm just gonna show you a couple of things here, and then you can go ahead if you like it and investigate yourself. So first of all, I'm gonna add a new image here, which is gonna be a standard image. Okay, so if want to click here on this open, you can see it works similar to the text nodes in the materials. So let me get here this background. So I'm gonna open this image here, and if I drop this into the viewer, well, this is gonna substitute what I had before with this new image. But if I want both of them, perhaps I want to have this one here as a background and this one here as a foreground. I can do it. I can do this photo montage. Now I can also use two images if I don't want to use the render layers. I would just want to add another image. I just can copy and paste, Control C, Control V, and let's open up another image here. I can use this animation folder, or I have here some image that I've rendered. So I'm just gonna look for. Okay, let's try with this one here, which has a little bit of transparency and a couple of objects. So I'm gonna open image, and I'm gonna now drop this in. Well, this is gonna substitute the image, but what if I want to do a photo montage? Well, I need an extra node to manage the alpha channel. So I will go here to add and search for directly what I'm looking for. In this case, it's alpha over. So if I drag the node right here and drop it between this image and this viewer node, you can see that this one have kind of substitute the image. Now if I bring this down right here, we can see the image in the foreground and this kind of a uniform color in the background, which we can also edit. So if I click here, I can just change the background of the composition. And well, actually I can apply also a color. There are other nodes here concerning colors and things like that. But what I would do here is assign the other image as a background. So like this, I can do a photo montage. A really simple example, of course. Now, also we can add filters and things that usually, again, we do in Photoshop or similar software. So if I go to color, well, this is the filter actually. So this is gonna be, well, let's make, for example, a blur. So if I place the blur right there, these two images are gonna pass through this node. So I can change the final effect by changing this node. So if I start to use this, you can see I can get this kind of a motion blur effect again, or I can have a more uniform blur and add other stuff here. Just, just go there and play around. And well, let me decrease this so I have a little bit of motion blur. Okay, and also we can add some color correction. So if I go to add, and let's go to color, and let's use, for example, the well, let's do something drastic like invert the color. And again, this is the amount of the effect. You can also delete that. And right now we cannot see anything because we don't have the link anymore. So everything needs to be connected and linked. So I'm going to use here another node. Let's use, for example, exposure. So I'm going to click and drag that, and that's it. So I can define the exposure. Okay. So usually, again, I don't spend too much time here in the compositing panel, but you are free to continue and to investigate more. Now, what I want to show you is some more options that you have. Once you're finished in Blender, you can move on in different directions. So the first one could be V-Ray. Now, V-Ray is an excellent render engine, and you can use it with a lot of software, not only Blender. You can use it with SketchUp, Rhino, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, and so on. Also Corona, it's pretty similar to V-Ray. And well, this is if you want to do some more appealing renderings, if you want to use also the Cosmos libraries that you will find inside V-Ray, and also V-Ray as a small tool for interaction, so you can like explore and, well, not interact, but explore and move inside the scene interactively. But you will find everything in the package in V-Ray. So if you're interested, you can check other courses in the channel about V-Ray. So about post-production and post-processing, you can use software like Photoshop, and if you want the open source alternative, you can use GIMP and Lightroom and Darktable if you just want to edit the picture in terms of coloring, or like hue, saturation, color correction. You can do that in Lightroom or Darktable. And if you want to do something more advanced, like getting rid of the background and do some photo montages, and well, some more advanced effects, you should go into Photoshop or GIMP. Now, another option which I really find myself comfortable with is Pixlr, and this is a web app actually, so you don't need to download and install anything. You just go into the website called pixlr.com. Let me change here the language in English. Okay, so this is a pretty basic but really effective application that will help you to do really quick montages in just a few minutes. So if I go here and open the image, I'm gonna go to my folder where I had saved some of these renderings. So, well, in this case,